Alright, what's up, everybody? It's your boy YFE, and I have the privilege of having my boy Chuck here. If you want to go ahead and say what's up.
Hey guys, it's been a while since we've done a collab, but we're bringing it back. So I really hope all of you guys enjoy.
While this might end up kind of toxic, I don't think it'll be as toxic as our usual stuff. Usually we do debunks, but this is a fun kind of remix on a sort of classic matchup, which is Superman versus Goku. This is Superboy, in particular N52, versus Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. If you guys like this, if you like the battle, we might run it back later with different versions because we have a lot of options. But I like this matchup. I think it's a little more intriguing than the other ones. So we're going to go through. This will be a little more laid back than usual. We're going to go over what they bring to the table by category, talk about win conditions, and give our thoughts on it. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. And we're going to start off with strength. And I'm going to kind of let Chuck, go ahead and touch on what Gohan has done that's impressive in terms of strength.
Okay, so to clear something up, we are going to be using Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. So basically, at the end of the Buu saga, where he obtains his ultimate power up, and I guess we are also going to go over some stuff from the movies, like the Z movies, the original 13. Such as the BoJack Unbound movie and the Broly movie, stuff like that.
What a fire movie, by the way.
So for one, we know that characters in Dragon Ball Z have had planetary levels of power, since the Saiyan saga. Vegeta was able to blow up a planet pretty casually, and then he got much stronger than that. Gohan surpassed Saiyan saga Vegeta that could blow up a planet when he was just a kid. He also was fooling on Frieza a bit when he got really angry, which I think is going to be a pretty good point in this battle, which is Gohan's anger, because he turns pretty sadistic and his power just jumps up pretty high. And one of his biggest feats, I would say, in Z is when he faces off against Cell and the Cell Juniors. Now the Cell Juniors, they might be really small, but they were able to throw down on Vegeta and Piccolo and Trunks, and these characters are much stronger than the Android Saga Super Saiyans, who were already more powerful than Final Form Frieza and stuff like that. And even though Vegeta and the others, they obtained Ascended Super Saiyan, which is a state above the standard Super Saiyan, they were still having trouble. And then we have Gohan just pretty much one-shotting them with a punch and a kick, So he can instantly vaporize these characters that are that powerful. And obviously, so what I'm trying to get at here is that Gohan can clearly punch with enough force to kill someone that can survive a planet or a star or a solar system exploding. And in the Buu saga, that is where he gets his ultimate power up. This ultimate power up is kind of his potential unleashed, that he had hidden within him, due to him not training all that much. So basically that power, the Elder Kai was able to get out of him. And this allowed him to pretty much put a really good wall up on. It allowed him to perform a really good ass beating on Super Buu, who was giving Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks trouble. And the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, he's basically Super Saiyan 3 on top of a Metamoran fusion, which just in base, Gotenks should already be more powerful than Super Saiyan Goten and Trunks, by several times over. And then you give him a 400 times multiplier, and Gohan was stronger than that. And Gohan was beating up on Super Buu so badly that his regeneration was, seemingly slowing down. It wasn't performing as well. And, Buu, he's basically been stated to being an universal threat. This doesn't mean that he's going to blow up the universe. But this basically means that, given enough time, he can wipe out pretty much all the living matter. Even Fat Buu, who's one of the weakest forms, was already destroying galaxies, over time. So, which is at least multi-solar system level, scaling off of Cell. And, as I said, Gohan could hurt a character that is that powerful. So, yeah. Is that good? Yeah?
Yeah, makes sense. All right. And Superboy, a lot of people do tend to go back and forth on New 52. A lot of people didn't like New 52 in general, so they don't tend to scale it properly. But he does have some impressive scaling based off other characters. For example, he fought relatives of Trigon. These characters, for example, like Belial, while he didn't fight Belial, he did fight direct descendants and relatives. And these characters like play poker amidst universes being destroyed. And he's able to knock these characters back at his like peak when he's pissed off. He's also able to somewhat fight off Martian Manhunter, fight off Supergirl, and when you look at the general, like what's his consistent power, I'd say it's pretty close to Gohan. Like Universal Plus is fine when he's pissed off, but that's like really high for him, in my opinion, to go high and pissed off, and I don't think he's consistently there. So I would drop him down and say probably like, yeah, Galaxy level plus is consistent at his high end for normal, because he doesn't directly scale to those Trigon. And when I refer to Trigon, by the way, for people, I'm referring to like a weakened version of Trigon, the one that has to come down to creation, come down to dimensions. That naturally weakens him and other characters of that nature, so his relatives would be falling in the same category. I don't think he scales to them at their peak or when they're stronger, so I can't put him as high as that. However, he is still pretty impressive given his other feats. And he did like knee Hayel in the face. And did he get beat up after? Don't worry about it. But he did knee him in the face. He's not as trash as people think. And I do think he can at least keep up in a slugfest with bare minimum early Gohan.
Oh, yeah, and I like to mention that although I have read New 52, I haven't really read Superboy, so this is mostly going to be Splash talking about him. But with Hal, I mean, I did like read up part of that arc, and I know that he was beating up on Superman too. So it's not like Superboy could have really done any better than him, but still that he was able to at least somewhat contend with a character like that. It's pretty impressive. I do know that
For the technical guys at home, like Dragon Ball side, I'm like the same thing as Chuck in terms of knowing Gohan stuff, but I can tell you guys that are specific about shit blowing up. These characters we're referring to, like Martian Manhunter, Superboy, and even Superboy when he's in other fights, they've casually like blown up planets and stars and moons, just throwing each other through it. So they do have that blatant destruction feats, if that's what you're like a really big fan of.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Cyborg Superman stated to Supergirl that he's like flown through supernovas and they don't do anything to him, and yet she can like punch him pretty hard and cause him pain and stuff. So I think that Superboy would scale from that as well.
Yeah, and we're looking at average, by the way, for everyone at home. Me and Chuck are not assuming these characters at their absolute peak or high end, so leave us out of Multiversal Dragon Ball Gohan, because that's probably out there. I don't trust these forums. And stay away from Outerversal Superboy with irrelevant speed. I'm not doing that today.
That is, everyone's Outerversal in DC.
Yeah,
somewhere.
we're not going for that today. I just think it's a little more interesting looking at consistency. So I think in base, each is relative. They can get stronger, although, and we'll elaborate on this later, I think Gohan gets stronger more, has a more significant strength amp in fights. So moving on, I'm going to touch on this category first. Speed. Now, speed, of course, Superboy has kept up with speedster type characters like Flash and Kid Flash. He's kept up with Supergirl, reacted to Supergirl blitzing him, managed to tag Superman tier characters, Martian Manhunter, all those. They can travel trillions of light years in moments. They did so with characters like Green Lantern. It's pretty consistent. So massively faster than light is a really safe speed tier for Superboy. Of course, some of these characters have fought throughout time or traveled through time, so you could argue a measurable speed. You can also argue infinite speed. However, consistency wise, they do get tagged. Superboy does get tagged. He's not consistently infinite or all that. Massively faster than light, however, is a safe tier for him, and I can't speak for Chuck yet, but I have a feeling he's gonna agree with me that I don't think either character will blitz each other.
Yeah, so for Gohan, there aren't really that many like crazy speed feats in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, we do know that they like were at least relativistic in the early Saiyan saga, because we saw Piccolo destroy like the moon pretty much instantly, and then he got stronger. Nappa and the others could react to his attacks, and obviously, you go off there, and the characters just get a lot more powerful and faster as the series goes on. There is one feat in the Z filler that I guess you can kind of use to calculate, and that is like base Goku, like right after he died to Cell. Him and Pycon crossed like universal distances. They went from the Grand Kai's planet, which is like right above heaven, which is in like one of the highest parts of the afterlife, and then below that is Enma's palace, and then below that is like all these clouds, and then you get to hell, and like we know that the top half of the macrocosm is much larger than the bottom. Like literally, the bottom part of the macrocosm is located within heaven. So you can get an idea that the afterlife is just spatially larger. Goku was able to cross that within like a minute or two in the episode, and obviously time does pass differently in the afterlife. But you can easily get this feat to being like quadrillions of times the speed of light, and Gohan in Ultimate should be way stronger than that. He should actually be like very comparable. In some cases, can even be argued to be superior to Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the anime, but we'll just say they're at least comparable to each other. So you calculate that quadrillion times speed feat by 400 for Super Saiyan 3, and you can get Gohan pretty high up there. But we do know that N52 characters have pretty sure they've had immeasurable speed stuff, and Superman, while he was like, just casually, he's just casually flying through the universe. I'm pretty sure that one was calculated to be trillions of times the speed of light, and that is not even in combat, so he would be far faster there. But yeah, I would think that they should be at least, comparable enough to each other. But I do believe that Gohan with his transformations should give him like a slight speed boost.
Yeah, later down the line, perhaps Gohan can take the edge in speed, but I don't think in the beginning they have a speed advantage at all. I think maybe later, but definitely not in the beginning. Moving on to durability, I think we can save some time here. I think both characters scale relative to their AP, but they can take more of a punch than they can dish out. And I don't think either character in the beginning has KO power against the other. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure on what Superboy has like tanked.
He got folded like an omelet against Hyel. Ran up on him, kneed him in the face, and got beat up. He got beat up by Supergirl, got beat up by Superman. He's fought Trigon's relatives. I believe they were his sons, some of his other sons. He's tanked planetary, star-level blast easily. Fought Superman tier characters. He doesn't in AP scale to like Superman, but he can take hits from Superman. It's that kind of situation.
Okay, what about like solar system and galaxy level stuff though?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty safe given what like N52 lanterns have to deal with, and Superboy casually scales to them. Like they deal with black holes, they deal with solar system leveling blasts, especially like the yellow lanterns, and Superboy easily scales to them. So yeah, I'd say galaxy range is pretty fair. And like how his AP scales, he takes more hits from like, let's say Supergirl when he fought her than he does damage to her. So it's kind of obvious his durability scales above his AP.
So with Gohan, I mean, yeah, like pretty much his durability would scale to his AP, and you could argue higher because we've seen Dragon Ball characters get beat up by stronger characters, and they're still like alive. Um, Gohan was getting pretty brutalized by boot tanks. He was playing around with him, but generally, like he was still able to survive with Dende's help after he healed him. But generally, like if Gohan gets like really beat up, he'll try to get angry as the last resort, I would say. So if Superboy was able to damage him like enough, like in this base or Super Saiyan states, then I feel like Gohan would have to be pushed into going ultimate, and then feeding off his anger, and then go out from there. But I would say that generally he should have pretty high durability.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I do think, durability, they both withstand early on, like, attacks from each other. I'd agree, durability probably slight edge to Gohan just because he has a chance to, power up based off of it, which we'll touch on in a little bit after. But moving on, intelligence, Superboy takes it. He has like intelligence-based hacks. He can remember stuff he hasn't even learned yet. Just stupid stuff like that. He's been around Robin and other members of the Bat family and learned from them. He's been around Superman, Supergirl, other members of the League and the Titans, and his ability to like basically instantly learn because of his hacks just makes him smarter than Gohan. Gohan's not dumb, especially in verse. He's very smart, and I'll let you touch on his. Because when we're talking IQ, we're more so talking skill. We'll kind of merge the two, where it's fighting IQ. And Gohan's a lot smarter than people give him credit for, so I'll let you talk about it in a second. But yeah, like Superboy's ability to learn basically instantly just, in my opinion, gives him an edge over Gohan when you add it on top of what he already has.
Yeah, so with Superboy, I would imagine that he has more combat experience, and he obviously does have contemporaries that that are pretty intelligent on their own. Gohan is very smart, but I would say more so academically speaking, because he did want to be a scholar. He does know like martial arts, he knows how to fight, but he's not like as experienced as Goku or Vegeta or characters that have actually fought for like a long time. And like he was deemed as like the leader in the Tournament of Power. Obviously, that is like super, but just generally, he's able to like strategize and be like, okay, guys, we need to be like in the center. We can't be like separate from each other. We need to like try to take care of like the stronger ones first, stuff like that. But I think that I don't think you have to be a genius to strategize that with your team, but I think it's like with Gohan, when Gohan was fighting like say Frieza or Cell or Buu, he didn't really need to like strategize and be like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. It was more so just him trying to overpower them. There wasn't really a need for him to strategize or try to outsmart his opponent. It was pretty much just him like mollywhopping the hell out of them, right? So if Superboy is able to like strategize, like you said, then I would imagine that he would have the edge in that.
Yeah, and I mean it's while it's an advantage, I don't think it's a massive one that just changes everything. It could be a factor, but for win conditions, I don't think it's huge. When we look at the last category, this is where it really gets big. We're only going to go over stuff that matters, like stuff that leads to the win. So for hacks, going over hacks and ability is probably one of the most crucial aspects of this fight, and we're really only going to discuss the stuff that's game changing or leads to win conditions. So I'll start first. Superboy has telekinesis. This can allow him to do things as minute as in mid combat when he's pissed off. He can slow and stop your blood flow by manipulating the molecules. He can also use this to form shields and blast characters away, even as strong as relatives of Trigon. This is important because this hack can throw around characters who casually can withstand universal plus cataclysms. So his hacks are a little stronger than his punches. He can also amp himself with his TK, and he can make himself faster. He does have like a healing factor, but it's not the craziest thing in the world, and it's not as blatant as other characters. But just like most characters, when he gets pissed off, he tends to brush it off pretty easily. I think his potential molecular manipulation can be a factor, but I don't think it's a guarantee. And there is some counter from Gohan, and I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about him and explain what it could be to counter the manipulation.
Yeah, so in Dragon Ball, although like there are some exceptions, like say the Mafuba, which was like a technique that Trunks used to seal Zamasu, that was taught from Master Roshi. Generally, like if you're stronger than your opponent, then you can basically just nullify their hacks. Like you're just like whatever, bro. And although we haven't seen like Gohan, like nullify an attack that attacked like, oh my god, we haven't seen like Gohan nullify a ability that would try to manipulate his blood or stuff like that. But we can say that going off the rule that if he has more raw power, more strength than Superboy, then he could nullify it. And even if Superboy was able to affect him in say his base or Super Saiyan states, he has Ultimate, which would grant him a much bigger boost. And
yeah, he basically powers out.
Yeah, he just chads out of it. And here's the thing: we haven't seen Gohan do this, but we have seen Goku and other characters use Ki for telekinesis. So it's fair to assume that if you're a Ki user, you can use telekinesis as well. So you can just to put that out there. So Gohan could theoretically use it. It's not like a specific ability. I guess one of the closest things I can think of that could apply to this is that when Vegito fought against Buhan, he tried to turn him into candy, and although it did work, he was turned into like a chocolate ball or something, he still regained his power and his like consciousness. So and he was still able to just fight, how he normally does, apart from not having arms and stuff like that. So to an extent. He could, chat out of it or stuff like that. Other examples would be like when Goku fought off against Hit, he used Kaioken. The more raw power he was unleashing with the multiplier, Hit had to improve his time skip to, have it work on him. It's actually a pretty good one too. When Chaozu tried to use his telekinesis on Nappa, it didn't work at all. Nappa was just like, nah, bro. So, yeah, like as you said, even if Superboy was able to use that to give him an opening, maybe Gohan could be like, yo, what the hell? Like my brain just felt really weird right there. Like my limbs weren't moving correctly there. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just gonna power up and try to annihilate the threat. And the thing with Gohan, as I mentioned earlier, is that he's like a very anger-based character. Sure, he's like calm and collected normally, and yeah, like against Frieza, against Cell, against Boo, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna spam them, I'm gonna overpower them. So I would say that would be his win condition there to try to overpower Superboy. And if he tries to blitz him, or he tries to use his hacks on him, Gohan can likely turn ultimate, and I guess just try to win from there.
So I think this is that part where off camera we agreed the most. Probably the biggest win condition between both of them, and it favors Gohan, is he can at least get stronger 3 times by a significant margin, and Superboy hasn't shown the tendency to take it that level multiple times like that. So that favors Gohan, and I think him getting Zenkais and getting stronger and being able to manipulate his power at such a significant rate would lead to a high diff 6 out of 10 over Superboy. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say that Gohan should take it the majority of the times, yeah.
would you say? Like, what number would you attach to it if you had to throw it out there?
Okay, so as I said, I don't know enough about the character, but I do know that he would scale like at least somewhat comparable to New 52, Superman, and Supergirl and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say 6, 7 out of 10 probably for Gohan. I can see the other. I can see the other 3 to 4 wins going to Superboy possibly because of the speed blitzing factor. Like we said they don't have like a huge like gap between each other, but I think if you want to go by like the higher ends for like the New 52 speed meta, I think Superboy could try to pull off a win from that. But just generally, Gohan just has better raw power and more durability. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that one win condition, just with the power boost, is a little too much. I think Superboy, I agree with you. It would be because early on he finds a way to manipulate and overwhelm him. And if we go with the higher scaling, I do think it favors Superboy. But consistency-wise, I don't think it does. So I think that's why I give a slight favor to him. But I mean, we might touch on this later with Post-Crisis versus Super, or a lot of people have been asking me for composite Dragon Ball stuff like Heroes. Chuck, do you ever get into Heroes stuff?
Yeah. I've scaled it before, like with Xeno Goku and stuff like that. There's still some stuff I need to read over because there's like it's like a manga for it too, and there's like a lot of DLC for Xenoverse 2. So yeah, there's definitely still some stuff that I haven't touched up on, but yeah.
All right, yeah. So we might actually do that as well. So if y'all want to see something like that in the future, let us know in the comment section. We also eventually are gonna remaster a couple Dragon Ball, DC, and Marvel videos. But thank you, Chuck, for coming on. Do you have any projects coming out soon you want to announce, or anything to talk about before we go?
SCP Series 3. It's been a lot of reading. It's a bunch of shit in that, but yeah, I would say those two. Maybe some Godzilla, Bleach stuff along the way, but yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on here, dude. I haven't done any DC versus battles in a minute. It's been a while.
Yeah, you did do Dragon Ball versus all of Marvel Comics, so it's close enough. But yeah, thanks for coming, man. Keep a lookout for his SCP content, Kong, all that stuff. And of course, I will be having similar content to this in the future, but anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It's been your boy, YFV. If you want to join the member server with me and Chuck, let me know in the comment section. I'll tell you how to join. But yeah, it's been your boy, YFV, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Yeah, peace out.